So basically we are here today is to take down or swap out the parts from what it's called a Cisco server, and let's see which one is it. This is the UCS C240, I believe. Yes, it is. So the first thing, as you can see, is we took the cover off, and it's similar to the other one right here. So we're just gonna open this one, and what I'm gonna do, all these components gonna be removed from here to this one. So most likely it's like a self-explanatory, but this is something I'm gonna do the best I can to show you how it's being done. So what I would do is, since I put them side by side, this is like the bevel. I'm gonna take this one out of the way. It's not needed because this is the CPU's CPU 2, CPU 1, so I have to remove those two and put the memory. Seemed to be that this one came with the fans, but it did not come with the CPU. So let's take one step at a time. Let me get my screwdriver. So the best way, obviously, to do it, we have a Phillips screwdriver, and I'm just gonna make it quick, which I already did that, to be honest with you. This is already done. So I'm just gonna remove it and put them right here. I did the same thing, and sometimes you may have a little cover, you may not. This one has it, so I'm gonna do this first. See, sometimes if you try to get this one out and it doesn't, that means it tells me this is first, and you just open them like that. You see it? And this is obviously, it's a cover. You need to remove this, so I'm just gonna leave it like that, because this one I'm gonna put the CPU, and I'm gonna do the same thing here and lift this thing up. Hopefully it's not damaged. Okay, they're not. All right, that sounds good, looking good so far. Same thing with this one. Now I want to make sure, yes, you could see this one here. So I'm going to remove the same thing with this. You could see this one has this is called the battery. This is actually a battery cache from experience. So I'm going to remove this, the PCI cards, because this whole thing here is going to be removed from here to this one. So I want to do it. So the best way to do it, I'm going to remove this, because I have to remove this card. Okay. And all right. Okay. We're gonna put this thing over on the side for now, because I gotta remove all the components one at a time. Okay, so I have to remove the CPUs. So I did not turn off the server, and one of the reasons why what I'm doing, this server, it has an outdated version, I think 3 something, and the new one, it came with the newest updated version, which is 4.0, so they could not be able to see it or be able to remote into it. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. The older one, the older server, I believe it has less hard drive base, which is not a big deal. So I'm just going to remove the hard drives from this one and put it onto the new one, and then later on I will show you how to configure it. This way it could be able to see the drives. Okay. All right. Sharing is caring. I'm trying to do the best I can to show you how it's being done. You know, the other day I was checking out something on YouTube, and I didn't know how to do something, and I said, that's really amazing. in a way we help one another. So there was a particular thing about, I'm not sure exactly, and it came to my mind. I said, you know what, that's what I want to do, the same thing. Ever since, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, so you can see these are CPU fans, or dissipating fans actually. And here we are. I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to remove it slowly. And okay. So this is a CPU, guys. And here's these little small notches on that thing, whatever you want to call it. They're gonna go right here. So I want to do the same thing, and I want to go like that. And I put it down. Now when you put it down, you want to make sure like that, snugly. Okay. Same thing with this one. Lift this one up. And I'm going to lift this one all the way up. The plug. Okay. So what this is here, you could be able to put it nicely without damaging the pins on the motherboard. So here, you put it this way. See these things? They need to line up right here. And you could feel it like that. And there it goes. And it's in. Then make sure you press this one like that. Put this in. And it's good to go. Alright. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other one, the CPU. I just laid it down. I rested it. Remember those two notches? You can see it right here. And it goes, let me see if I can bring this one over. Okay. Right there. See? See how it sits? And when you lay it down, it sits nicely. You push this thing down, and you put this one here. You do the same thing with this one, and you're good to go. Alright, now on here, see how the other one is? This is the old one. Basically, I'm just swapping the parts from here and moving it right here. The only thing is the fans. I'm not going to remove it because on the new one it already has it. I'm just going to get all these cables, the memory, and everything else, as well as the what's called the power supplies. Okay, let's put this in back. Continue. Alright, so same thing with the memory. I have, actually it doesn't have much memory, surprisingly. Has only only two DIMMs. I want to put them the same way, so you will need to make sure this is lined up. It shows like just blue and white. Here at the center of this one, that's where the memory is. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 6, I'm gonna remove this thing. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm gonna put it right here. Suggestion is you may want to take a picture of how the components are, so you know how to put back everything. And as you can see, I pressed the memory and it heard a click. You need to make sure you get that click. This one's easy, it's all the way on the side. Okay, so we remove it and we're gonna put it right here. Actually, this server is not as complicated as other ones. It has so many components. It's really a piece of cake, you could say. I'm just trying to get my head out of the way. You can see what I'm doing, or my fingers I should say. Okay. And if you ever happen to come on any of these sites, make sure you may bring, let's say, especially a keyboard, because some of these sites they don't have a keyboard, so you may not be able to change the configuration on the server. Just letting you know. Okay. Okay, here we go, and it clicked, and it's good. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put these things. Don't forget, see there's a little arrow. Tells you which way the airflow. So it has to be this way. Remember, you don't want to overheat the system and then they make you go back for something it's your fault. Alright. Now when you tighten up the screws, you want to do them like a zigzag. So let's say this one I did right, and then you do the other side right here. You don't want to do one alongside each other. You just press it down. I want to line it up so I can see. Here we go. Sometimes you may just have to take a peek, see where the screws goes, and I did that. It caught. So now I'm doing the same thing. You press a little bit firmly down till it stops. You don't want to over tighten. See, and then you go back zigzagging basically. Okay. Just watch your hands, because these things, those fans, they could be a little sharp and you could cut yourself. You don't want to be bleeding all over the server now. So okay, and that's it. See, it's done, it's all good. Now if you're not sure about how to remove these fans, there's those blue handles. You just lift it up, see, and that's how it's being done. To put it down, make sure first, you see this thing, notches here, one groove, 1, 2, they need to be lined up right here. Again, this is a little sharp, so be careful. See, on the motherboard you want to make sure the power, everything is plugged in on the new one. If you need to remove this motherboard, you need to remove, like I showed you, the you could remove them or you could not, but you could unscrew this one here and one here, and then this one slides out. Make sure you take the power supply out, and then unplug. Here's one cable, two cables, and whatever cables is here. All right, that's about it. Really simple. Okay, let's put this back, the fan, and I want to show you when you put the fan, and it, once you hit it, and then it clicks. Okay, so it's basically it's all done, and now I need to bring the array controller card and put it back in, which is this one. So you bring in this thing that I told you earlier. Now remember, this is the cache battery. I didn't have to take it out from the old one. I'm just going to use the same one, put it right over, right? Just wash these cables. Now before I do that, I almost forgot. We need to plug this one in there, so we need to plug it in. So we're just going to put it right here. Line it up this, and it's gonna go in the back of this card. So this one here is gonna go right there. So don't forget that. That's the array control. Okay. So to do it, I'm just gonna go put this card here, or if not, I could just plug this one in. Plugged in, right? So you bring it over here and you put this card there. And you press it firmly. Once you press it firmly, I want to show something. Once you press it firmly here, you need to tighten this one up. So with my screwdriver to the side, and it's done. See, this is for that handle, which I didn't need to do that. Okay. Now with the battery cache, it's really simple. If you ever need to remove it, you press this thing. You see it? And this one just slides out. Okay? In case you need to do it. So you put it back this way, sideways, clicks. Don't forget, this one has to go down this way through the hole, and you bring this one out. In, I should say. And then you need to plug this one in. Okay. And it's done. Then we're going to put the baffle cover back on, and we just want to make sure the cables are all good. Okay, there we go. Now with this one, see this one, here's one groove, they go right there, they go here and here, so you need to line it up. And once you line it up, just make sure that the other, I forgot to show you, see this cable is sticking out? I want to make sure it goes in, otherwise this is going to give me a hard time to push it, or I don't want to break it. So here I am. It's good that I felt it. See, anytime you feel like something is stuck, go back and check. See, it should go nice and easy, and it did. See, it's not a brainer, and it's good. So this server, it's good to go. It's finished. Now the only thing I'm going to remove from the old server, the power supply, which I want to show you in a second. It's really simple. And here we are. You press this thing and you pull out. So you press this green and you pull out. So now the server has nothing in there. thing is we need to do is the hard drives. Okay, the hard drives. So the hard drives are in the front, which I'm going to show you soon. So here we go. With the hard, see, there's the front. Okay, so there's the hard drive. To do it, obviously, they're all already numbered, and we're going to put them the same way. But I just want to show you how it's being done. You press this button, and it pops. You see, and you take the drives out. See, 1, 2. And this is 3, and this is, well, I think this is just an empty, see it, sometimes an empty tray, you don't need to worry about it. And same thing with here, we're going to do the same thing. 1 drive, 2nd drive, and just put them in order, because I don't know how they are being configured. It's a lot easier. And again, I want to show you it's an empty tray. So now we know there are only 6 drives. Alright. Now this may be a little different from the new one, which I'm about to show you in a second. So let's switch over and show you what's going on. Alright, here we go. So this server is done. Finito. Take the drives and put them on the side. Now I want to show you how to put these things. It's really not a brainer again. See, slides and clicks, slides and clicks. These are the power supplies. They're snug. Okay, now I want to show you what's a little different on the new one. See this thing, the front, you can see clearly. It has more hard drive bays. You see that? But it's the same idea. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go over here. And we're going to look at over here. It shows this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the rest is blank. So we don't need to worry about it. I mean, this has like a 24. It's amazing. 24 drives. Alright, so we're going to put these things back. This is number 1. See 1. So I did it. I think you could see it, right? There's 1, there's 2, 2, 3, and I got 3 more. Okay, so we got the drives in. Now we're going to put the cover back on, which is this. Now this is something for you guys to know. Replacement component, it's usually on the cover. You could always look it up. Alright, so with this thing we're going to put it right here. And the way it does, you just slide it and it locks. That's about it for now. Thank you. So the other thing is we forgot to do that you gotta put the NIC card in, which is this one right here. Let me show you guys. When I check, this is the NIC card that also needs to be installed to remove from the old one to the new one. So it's gonna go this way, so I have to remove this one out and just slide it. And once you slide it, you just align it with the groove, and you're good to go. Here we go. Once it clicks, you bring the screwdriver. There's a screw on all the way on the bottom. Let me see if I can bring. Show you what I mean. You see right here, there's a screw right here. You need to push this one in and you screw it, and then you bring this card, same thing, and we're gonna line it up this way. See, these things has to go here like that, and we just push in. Okay, so that's how it's being done. So now I'm screwing it right now, tightening it I should say. Then I bring this one, same thing. Make sure you plug this one in. Make sure you plug the power or the communication with it, so you don't have to worry about it later on. I had to do it because I forgot to put the NIC card back in, and I realized that, like, oh, I have more cables. How am I supposed to plug in the rest? So here we go. Set. Every day something new. You want to make sure it's all plugged in, because once you power the system up and then you find out something is not plugged in correctly or loose, then you gotta shut the system down and start off, and then you gotta open it and all that kind of stuff, which it's not a fun thing, you know. Okay, this one is gonna go right here, like this. So this plate, just in case you're not sure, you take this one out and you double check how it's being done, and you follow the same thing with the other one. There it goes. Okay, looking good, looking good. Alright. Now we're good. Now we're going to put the cover back again. Put the NIC card back in. Okay. Alright. Okay, so we hooked up all the cables, and I'm about to turn on the server and see what happens. Alright, let's see. The power on would be. Seven, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. we brought the system up, and it seemed to be that the let's see if I can bring this thing down, guys, for you. Here we go. Yeah, so what I did is it didn't come up the first time. It turned out to be that CPU2 was giving me an issue, so now it came up, which is a good thing. So right now we're at the login at the screen, press F2, blah blah blah, which I will do that, but for some reason error in setting Cisco IMC blah 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 blah. Okay, the address, which I will enter later on. I see everything. Okay, so just to give you some idea, so what I did here, you see where it shows CPU2 and this CPU1, and when I brought it up, it was in a very high pitch noise and it did not come up, which means the screen, it was like black. That gives you an idea. So I had to take the CPU out, CPU2. Obviously make sure you unplug the power. If it still didn't come up, you try at least with one memory, but now in this case it did. So there is an issue with CPU2 or the socket, so let's find out what's going on. I want to try that again. I want to shut it down. Alright, here we go. And you just wait and it's going to power up. If you see back here on the back of the power supply, see how they're blinking or flashing, and soon it's just gonna come up. And let's see, and here they are, they're solid, and now start to fire up. Let's check out. Yeah, this kind of field you have to be patient. It could be for hours and hours, and just have to wait. So right now what is it doing? It's doing a pre-self diagnostic check, and we're waiting on it. And here we go, and it's coming up. So it's configuring. Let me see, I can get a little closer. Okay, so configuring test memory. So I'm going to go into, I believe, an F8, because I have to do the CIMC, which is like an iDRAC or ILO on HP or Dell in case, but since this is a Cisco, they all have different names from IBM to Cisco and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be giving us which option, and I need to type in the IP addresses, blah blah blah, and then I also I need to give the password. So I'm going to change the password now. The default password, I believe, is just password, regular PA. Here we go. See it? It's called the Cisco IMC F8. So I press it, and it's saying enter CIMC config utility. CIMC config utility, which is great. And let's see. So once again, we figured out why it did not come up. It turned out to be that the CPU socket 2, it's bad, which means we need another system board or motherboard or a chassis, whatever you want to call it. And it says error, no iSCSI boot port. Obviously we need the config and we could see all the drives there. That's great. The rate, beautiful. There are 6 drives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, they're all Toshiba. Alright. Now I brought with me a USB keyboard in order for me to make the config changes. And here we are, right here. So here, what you see says CIMC user details. I believe it's the default is just password. So PASSWORD. Enter. I'm gonna call it. You have to make it capital PASSWORD 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say, and the enter password, same thing. PASSWORD 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say enter, and guess what? It took it. Default password modified. Okay, so okay. Now here we are, right here. This is where we need to type in. Watch this. These are not the correct one. I don't know which one is. These are all wrong, so I have to change these. So it shows the CIMC IP, the subnet, and the gateway and the prefix. These things are wrong. It's from I don't know who. After you change this thing, you press F10 and then you're good to go, and you give the customer the new password and they will remote into and they take care of the rest. Again, these IP addresses that you see, you don't want to go by. It could be from previous or wrong. Alright, so to change each one, you just press what? It says here to change, you have to just type it in. For instance, 10, and you make all that changes. Alright, F1 setting. I hope that helps you guys out. Thank you.